A lovely good morning. It is yet another interesting edition of the Camnet Breakfast Show. Wednesday, this being the 1st of November, we have a fully packed program for you. Remember that I'm your usual host, Patrick Soko. I'll be joined by Mako Kwakozi, and today we have a fully packed program. We'll be having an interview later on the day. We are hosting Kawata Constituency Member of Parliament, Andrew Taengwa, to give us his perspective pertaining to political matters as well as developmental issues in Lusaka's Kawata constituency. Especially those of you in Lusaka want to hear from you, and especially as we host our guest. Today also we continue to give you nothing but the best, and also giving you an update regarding what has been happening in the former ruling party at the PF, as Mao Sampa and Edgar Lungu go head on with parallel political parties. And we are seeing that based on the pending court decision, Mao Sampa has an upper hand as things stand, but the Edgar Lungu camp also is not sleeping, trying to make sure that they rescue the party. We have quite a number of stories pertaining to that subject, and stick around so that you can get for yourself the update that we had for you in last evening's main news, as we get to zoom in the headlines this morning. To just get started, let's have a look at the health corner with the doctors.
Hi, welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakubiana Mfaya. So this week we are looking at a very interesting topic, and we're looking at polycystic ovarian syndrome. And we've discussed what is polycystic ovarian syndrome and what are some of the causes of polycystic ovarian syndrome. So we say that polycystic ovarian syndrome usually comes about because of increased production of insulin in the body, and this results in the body not responding well to the hormones, the female hormones that are produced, or even not producing enough of these female hormones. And also the body will tend to produce more of the androgens, which are the male hormones, and so you have irregularities in your menses, or even not have menses at all, and you might also have cysts that form in the ovaries. So what are some of the symptoms of somebody who has polycystic ovarian syndrome? Now, there are a number of symptoms that can be able to tell you that you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Most people who develop this condition would usually see these symptoms a bit early after they start their periods. So it could be somebody who is getting into their 20s who starts experiencing such symptoms. Even though most of the symptoms would be there even before they start their periods, but because you have not yet started your periods, you can't really know that you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So most people who have polycystic ovarian syndrome would have amenorrhea or oligomenorrhea. So they might not have menses regularly. So they might be some months when they are not having their menses. So they might have menses for 3 months and then skip 1 month, or even skip 2 months, 3 months, or even 6 months. So they have what we call oligomenorrhea. Then they may also have symptoms of hyperandrogenism. And so this is where they might experience what we call hirsutism, where they have facial hair, which is most common in men, which we see in men only. But now you find that even women start having facial hairs. They might have a beard or a mustache that develops because of the excess male hormones that are being produced. They may also have alopecia, where their hair is falling out, and so they might have loss of hair in their scalp, so they have a baldness on their head. So these are some of the symptoms that people with PCOS would usually have, apart from having the irregular menses. Then they might also be found to have cysts. When they go to the hospital, they might have cysts. Now, these cysts, when they develop, they might show as a distended abdomen, where somebody has an abdomen that is distended, or having a mass in the abdomen, or they might not. So sometimes they might be so big such that they can be very visible, and other times they are not so visible. So they might have these cysts that form in the ovaries. So these are the symptoms of people who have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I do hope you have learned something today. Make sure you watch again tomorrow, where we'll talk about the treatment or the diagnosis and how it's treated in the hospital once you are found to have this condition. Make sure that you also watch the other episodes on my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Nakubena on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Welcome back. That was the Health Corner with Dr. Nakubiana Mufaya giving us that subject that we've been looking at for this week. Every day we do advise that in case you have a perspective, a suggestion, you can do so and give us that perspective so that we can get to hear your concern pertaining to what matters you'd want be discussed on the Health Corner. Now, moving on, we have to go and look at how the kwacha is performing this morning. So now here is how the kwacha is falling. Let's have a look. Now $1 is buying at 21 kwacha 8 ngwe, and they're selling at 22 kwacha 31 ngwe. The Greater British Pound is buying at 26 kwacha 56 ngwe and selling at 27 kwacha 09 ngwe. We are seeing that the euro is buying at 23 kwacha 20 ngwe and selling at 23 kwacha 65 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 17 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 19 ngwe. So those are your money market updated this morning at 0723. Today is the 1st of November, and we are starting a new month. Happy new month to you, Makokwakozi.
Thank you very much. I'm happy that I've made it to November. November is always one of the months that I love, because we start slowly getting into the festive period.
Okay, I thought you were going to tell me because there's we have the rains when you people in Chawama have been running away from your homes. So, but now that you mentioned the aspect of the festive season, I agree with you. I think it's a good month.
The festive season always comes with the love and sharing of gifts. And that is why I'm super excited for this particular festive season, because as Camnet TV we are coming up with something that is going to give our clients a very good opportunity to advertise their goods and services on Camnet TV. So I'm looking forward to that. So November is a month that takes us into the festive season and gets us into that sharing and giving mood. So I'm super excited about it.
Interesting. We hope that those will be, that package will be good for our clients.
Sure.
Cozy. And we have to look at, when we look at the money market, what comes into my mind was usually ERB. The bearer of bad news yesterday just maintained the status quo. They did not spoil the people's days, including yours, because I think you still have to use the same money for the for your 10 liters.
Yeah.
So for now, you have some sort of relief, because on the international market, the prices have been reducing. So it's just that our kwacha has also not been performing okay, and we're seeing that is having a negative effect on our economy. So now we have to look at this story where the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has maintained the November 2023 fuel pump prices for petrol, diesel, kerosene, and jet A1 that are of as that of October 2023, and of diesel and petrol, and on the international market are reduced by 10.2% and 0.33% and also and 5.7% respectively. So now addressing journalists at the media briefing in Lusaka Tuesday, ERB board chairperson Reynolds Wawa says the prices for petrol, diesel, jet A1 and kerosene has been maintained at 29 kwacha, 98 ngwe and 29 kwacha, 96 ngwe and 29 kwacha, 29 ngwe and 20 kwacha 44 ngwe per liter respectively. So now let's have a look at this story for ERB where they were making some announcements pertaining to the fuel pump price as per current requirement that every month they have to make that announcement on the last day of the month. Let's have a look at that press briefing that was held by ERB.
Has introduced a temporary transport equalization mechanism that would be used to cushion the difference between the actual transportation costs incurred by oil marketing companies and the revised transport fees in the ERB cost buildup. The equalization mechanism is supported by the Strategic Reserve Fund. Accordingly, given the foregoing, the ERB has maintained the October 2023 pump prices for petrol, diesel, jet A1 and kerosene. The prices for November 2023 for petrol, diesel, jet A1 and kerosene will therefore be 29 kwacha 98 ngwe per liter, 29 kwacha 96 ngwe per liter, 29 kwacha 29 ngwe per liter, and 20 kwacha 44 ngwe per liter, respectively. The prices have been maintained because the movements in the international oil prices and exchange rate of the kwacha against the United States dollar resulted in changes that were below the set threshold of 2.5%.
There you have it. That was the ERB making that announcement as of yesterday, and that's how they maintained the fuel pump price. At least today, for this month, you have to maintain the same costs, no addition, no subtraction. Let's hope how November or December will come with a gift of a reduction.
Sure.
Like our causes are showing us that Camnet TV is coming up with a gift for our clients.
Yeah, sure. We are hoping that December comes. November and December come as a gift to the people of Zambia as regards the cost of fuel. We are hoping for a reduction in those particular months, but we need to wait and see, look at the dynamics and see what will be happening on the international market, also how the kwacha will be performing against the major convertibles. It's something that is interesting to look at.
Now, let's also have a look at a story where Pambashe Constituency Member of Parliament Ronald Chitotela has testified before the Economics and Financial Crimes Court that his house, where the Anti-Corruption Commission issued a restriction order, was genuinely acquired from means of doing business and loans. Appearing before Susan Wanjelani, Pixie Yangarilo and Vincent Siloka in Malta, he sued the state for unlawful issuing of a restricting order to his house in Chongwe on grounds that the property was a proceed of crime. So let's have a look at this story, then we'll be back to look at some of the stories pertaining to the opposition patriotic front.
A senior investigations officer at the Anti-Corruption Commission, Gift Temple, has testified before the Economic and Financial Crimes Court that there was no malice in issuing a restricting order to Pambasha lawmaker Ronald Chitotela's house in Chongwe because all procedures were followed and the property is alleged to be proceeds of crime. This is in a matter in which Mr. Chitotela has sued, demanding, among other reliefs, that the court declares the seizure of the property illegal and politically motivated and contravenes Article 17 of the Zambian Constitution. Mr. Chitotela is also seeking an order to declare the seizure notice by the Anti-Corruption of Zambia, dated 17th April 2023, as illegal and contravenes Articles 17 and 18 of the Zambian Constitution. In his testimony, Mr. Chitotela alleges that when the seizure notice was effected, his children, wife and workers were thrown out of the dwelling place, and the commission gave a damaging statement that he concealed the property in the name of a Chinese businessman when in fact not. He also testifies that the decision to seize his property was malicious, as the state indicated that they started investigating him in 2017 but seized the house in 2022 after the change of government. The petitioner disclosed that his house was built from known sources of income, such as in 2017 and 2018 when he sold maize in excess of $5 million United States dollars. However, a Chinese witness, Liu Runmin, was surprised that the land he sold to Mr. Chitotela, where the property is located, is still in his name, despite selling the property in 2017 at the value of 1 million kwacha. Meanwhile, the state maintains that all the procedure in the seizure notice was followed and no malice was involved. Other reliefs Mr. Chitotela is seeking before court include a declaration that Section 58 and 59 of the Anti-Corruption Commission, Act No. 3 of 2012, is unconstitutional because it deprives him of the right to home privacy and other properties, a declaration that Section 71 and 78 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act is unconstitutional, and damages from the two and second respondents, who are Silumezi Mujela, Gift Tembo, and Kopano Chilembo. The matter continues on 15th February. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, thank you for staying with us. So that is an interesting story because it pertaining to the courts.
Very interesting. One thing I've learned that has dampened my spirit, my morale, is that in 2017, Honorable Chitotela was minister, and he bought land from a Chinese national in 2017.
Imagine. Because can you go to China and sell land to a Chinese national again?
Just how? Just how? Anyways, he acquired the land at a cost of 1 million.
No, all that money
from a Chinese national in 2017, and that has made me feel like, honestly, how are we now buying land?
Does it mean how can you cause your own land if a minister is managing to buy land at 1 million?
Yes.
Can you buy land
from a foreign national?
Can you buy land?
Honestly speaking, can a Zambian...
Okay, let's rebase this. Let's rebase it. 1 million. How much is that?
That's 1 billion kwacha.
You see? That's not small money. Do you know how much 1 billion kwacha can do in terms of development cause?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot. A lot. If you were to give a Zambian, what can I say, common Zambian, 1 billion kwacha, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. 1 million kwacha rebased is a lot of money. And imagine 1 million kwacha in 2017.
We should be serious. We should be serious.
Interesting stories coming through. That's the story about the former Minister Ronald Chitotela, who went to court as regards the property that was seized by the Anti-Corruption Commission. And we have got a number of some stories that we are looking at this morning. If you have any contributions as regards the stories that we're looking at this particular morning, you can go to our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and then go to the comment section of this particular broadcast, because it's live on Facebook. and then leave your contributions there. We'll be more than happy to see what you think about what we are looking at. And remember that later on in the program, we are going to be having the Kabwata Member of Parliament, Andrew Tayengwa, to come and discuss issues concerning his constituents and, of course, other national matters right here on the Camnet Breakfast Show. Patrick.
Indeed. So we had a number of stories, because let's have a start with a story pertaining to the PF. We had Nakachinda, who was also appearing before the court, and we also saw that there was still police presence at the Secretariat for the Patriotic Front, who are keeping a vigil. And we also witnessed the church also here telling the PF to opt for dialogue.
Sure.
So we look at some of those stories now, so that we can start getting the perspective of our viewers. And we have quite a number of stories. Among the stories is a story where the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ, has advised the Rango plunged the Patriotic Front to dialogue and iron out their internal differences. EFZ Executive Director Bishop Andrew Mwenda says the differences in the former ruling party are distracting it from offering alternative policies through checks and balances. Let's have a look at this story, and we get interacting on the other side.
The role of opposition political parties is critical in determining the level of accountability by governing parties and governments, the effectiveness of public service delivery, and the overall quality of the country's democracy and economy. Opposition parties provide alternative visions, policies, scrutinize government's decisions and actions, as well as defending the voters' interest. However, the former ruling Patriotic Front has fallen short of these roles, as they now concentrate on mending the puncture that has splitted the party into two. Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ Executive Director Bishop Andrew Mwenda says this development is of great concern, as it not only affects the party itself, but also the country at large, and has advised its members to dialogue and iron out their differences.
It is not good for the country, it's not good for them. And we, as a church, particularly as the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, we wish that the Patriotic Front would be able to come back together and organize themselves and talk. There is nothing that you cannot talk, and there's nothing that you cannot solve. Anything that comes your way as a human being or as a people, there must be a place where you can sit down and talk. So it's not good for the nation, and it's not good for the PF itself.
Meanwhile, retired Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Lusaka, His Grace Most Reverend Teres Fompundo, has equally advised the former ruling party to find a common ground on which they can operate peacefully.
When you have so many little political parties, there is no democracy at all. What we have is a lot of noise and wrangling for positions. And we don't want this. Zambian people are tired of this kind of thing. They want a political party that can offer an alternative to the political party ahead. When we want a democratic dispensation, we want political parties that are offering an alternative to any government of the day. To me, this is chaos, and the people themselves, those in PF, let them come together and say, is this the kind of opposition we are going to make? They won't make anything.
The future of the former ruling Patriotic Front is in limbo following the confusion that erupted after Matero Member of Parliament Mao Sampa was elected party leader during a controversial convention held on 24th of October this year. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Police officers in Lusaka have continued to guard the premises of the Patriotic Front to ensure that only the right office bearers access the premises. A check at the facility Tuesday morning found some police officers still guarding the facility. Meanwhile, Patriotic Front Secretary General Raphael Nakachinda has appealed before the Lusaka Police Force Headquarters Fraud and Cyber Crimes Department, where it was being questioned on the purported evidence suggesting that the Registrar of Society has received directions to install Mao Sampa as the president of the party. Mr. Nakachinda, who addressed the media shortly after appearing before police, says he will not divulge the information to the police unless the party's Central Committee convenes a meeting tomorrow, 1st of November 2023.
To discover that the callout was coming from fraud and cybercrime department, to which they are making inquiries over some information that is in the possession of the party, and having transmitted during a press conference. They were trying to extract out of me that information, and the fact that there were indications of recordings. They wanted those recordings.
Meanwhile, Counsel Makebi Zulu, who accompanied his client, has appealed to officers to allow the party's Central Committee convene a meeting without interferences, as it is the only way they can respond to their concerns.
Did communicate that they have information of interference or of an overbearing nature on the Registrar of Societies to register Mausampa's party. It is that communication that the police are interested in. Is evidence of that communication that they're interested in. And he has right to advise them that we will seek mandate of the Central Committee. And we also did indicate to them that for us to have a Central Committee meeting, we do not want the disruptions that we had yesterday, where they brought about that confusion. We saw the police that they sent over. So in that regard, the police we will write to them and communicate to them after consultations when the Central Committee will be held. In which case they have to acknowledge that we should have our Central Committee.
For now, the wrangles in Zambia's largest opposition political party continues, and the Zambian people await to see how matters will unfold. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Thank you very much. So that is about the Patriotic Front, and of course another story that we are looking at spoke of the church advising the Patriotic Front to sit down and dialogue as regards the problems that they are faced with. It is interesting that the church now has been is advising the Patriotic Front to sit down and have dialogue to sort out the problems, because they need to concentrate now on giving checks and balances, and of course rebranding the party as opposed to the infighting that we are seeing.
Indeed, Mr. Makokwa. Quite interesting views from the church that they are suggesting that they should opt for dialogue. And I think dialogue is always the way to go, especially in matters of such nature. It is always advised that you dialogue over matters. But as things stand, do you think there's room for dialogue? Because I was privy to listen to Mausampa last evening, and I was saying in fact, the names of the office bearers have been submitted, and that he has been confirmed. He has been confirmed now that as PF president, and not Edgar Lungu as the PF president. So he was saying if those want to rejoin the party, like those who have been suspended and everything, they should go at constituency level. If former President Edgar Lungu wants to be readmitted to the party, he can go to Chawama there and join from there. Then they'll start considering whether he needs a position in the Central Committee or what. Then he says he's on his way, on his course in putting up a Central Committee for himself. So that's Mausampa for you. So he's been moving, and he says he's made a lot of progress, and that as things stand, based on what is the court ruled, that for now, when they sought for permission that Mausampa should not call himself president of the PF, when the court overruled that, it means that now he still remains the PF president. Based on that convention he held. He had a lot of justifications, Kozi, to say, besides the previous conventions, most of them, the way they were held, it's not different from what he has done, and he has done better. There was a ballot, and he compared to the 2016 election, which ushered in former President Edgar Lungu as PF president, that people were just compelled to raise hands. to say who is voting for this person. And he says him even went ahead and did better to make people to vote, and that further he suggested that this time where things have reached, there's no going back. But we saw that in the other clip there that the Edgar Lungu camp is still pushing, is still not relenting to make sure that they are also seeking the audience of the Ministry of Home Affairs, and to just get an update from them. I don't know, former President Edgar Lungu was also seeking an intervention. They did not meet on Monday. And we will see how events unfold today, given that the Minister of Home Affairs will be addressing the press. So we'll see what they will be coming up with. We hear what are the developments. I'm sure pretty much most issues happening in the former ruling party among the agenda in terms of what is likely to talk about. But events have been unfolding. It's quite unusual. And it's not unusual because in the Zambian political landscape, we've seen political parties that have been having factions where we have NDC 2, NDC 1, NDC led by Sawa Imbwera, NDC led by George Sichula. And we had CF, we had the DP that was headed by Hari Kalaba, and we saw others claiming to be office bearers in the name of Judith Kabemba. They had two factions, and it was difficult, especially during the filing of nominations for the Kabata constituency by elections. We saw that cozy. And where Hari Kalaba had to opt out and form his own political party, the Citizens First, to avoid that. He would have also been probably affected political-wise. So, but he opted to move out of that confusion and went to form or to be part of the Citizens First Party. Now, it's not just that those political parties, even UNIP was entangled in wrangles. And we also saw that the former ruling party, the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, was also in wrangles when we saw the comeback of former President Rupia Banda into active politics. We saw him also taking part of the MMD and taking it to the PF, where they endorsed the candidature of former President Edgar Lungu. And we saw the PF there emerging victorious, and the MMD was now going towards was losing members by the day. And what we are seeing in the PF now is no longer new. But what I love about it is that the Edgar Lungu camp has pretty much confidence that things will be back to normal.
This is not the first time we're seeing such in the Patriotic Front. There was a similar happening in 2015. Remember, after the passing of the late President Michael Chilufya Sata, may his soul rest in peace. We were just commemorating 9 years last Saturday. There were two conventions that were held in Kabwe.
Yes.
The first one voted Michael Sata, Mao Sampa as president, and then it was declared illegal, and the Zambian politics.
We had another one.
Yes, the people that were what do you call the elections officer, the people who were looking at the elections said, no, me, I declared the Sampa winner, but I didn't declare him president of the party. So another convention was held, which saw Edgar Lungu being voted as president of the party, and went on to become president of Zambia. So this has happened before, and I think that the Patriotic Front should have learned from what they transpired in 2015. Look, before Mao Sampa went to that convention on the 24th of October, just after the party left office and President Edgar Lungu said he was not going to continue being party president, there was talk of, a lot of people spoke about convention, let's go to the convention, let's go to the convention. At one point, aspiring candidates were made to pay nomination fees of 200,000 kwacha, if I'm not mistaken, to stand as party president. I remember there were about, is it six candidates that showed interest to become president, but they still did not go to the convention. Whatever problems that the party had, they couldn't manage to go to the convention. Mao Sampa, on the 24th of October, Independence Day, went to the convention with, had a convention anyway. They had an election and he was voted party president. He went, as you have said it, they managed to change names of office bearers at the registrar. The court declared the convention illegal. At where we at now, I think the Patriotic Front should stop looking outside for what caused them to be where they are. They should introspect. They should look at themselves to find where the problem is. You can't continue blaming other people for the problems in your house. You see, they are saying that Mao Sampa is being sponsored by the UPND. No, the UPND is sponsoring the divisions in the party. Remember when we went for the briefing at the party secretariat? They're even blaming the media. Stop calling Mao Sampa president. You guys, how could you report that Mao Sampa is president when he garnered how many votes?
Then you know Mao Sampa, when he was asking a question and again was saying, when someone is challenged to say, was everyone here? Then he says, it was an indoor meeting. Did you know who was there?
And you see, yesterday he mentioned that he has engaged an audit firm to audit the party's assets and finances. That doesn't smell good. At the end of that
it does not. Let's have a look at the other two stories.
Sure. We did have a story from former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Defense, Stadi Mwali, who says that former President Edgar Lungu's return to active politics is meant to restore sanity in the former ruling party and not to contest the 2026 general elections. Mr. Mwale, who is also the opposition Patriotic Front Copper Belt chairperson, says former President Edgar Lungu is only holding on to the party presidency in the build-up to a successful candidate in 2026. Now, he has, however, described the convention held by Mao Sampa as a sham and illegal. Mr. Mwale was speaking from a Lusaka Magistrate Court after his case, in which he is facing 3 counts of willful failure to comply with applicable procedure in the procurement of presidential Gulf Stream jet. Now, another story says Patriotic Front member Tshimbaka Mbwili has charged that there are no signs of economic recovery under the United Party for National Development Administration. Mr. Kambwili insists that contrary to President Hakainde Hichilema's assurances that all Zambians eat 3 meals per day, citizens are more troubled than they were under the Patriotic Front. Mr. Kambwili has charged that Mao Sampa is just a hired gang who will not be good, whose end will not be good, rather. Meanwhile, the Citizens' First leader, Harry Kalaba, has reminded the international community to remind President Hichilema of his pledge to good governance. Let's have a look at these stories.
On Saturday, 28 October 2023, former President Edgar Lungu announced his political comeback, silencing speculations which had engulfed the country. The former ruling party, Patriotic Front, stands by too with no clear-cut answer to who is the party president between the Mao Sampa-led faction and that of the former president. Patriotic Front Copperbelt Province Chairperson Stadi Mwale says former President Edgar Lungu's return to active politics is meant to bring sanity, guidance and wisdom to the Patriotic Front and not to contest as president in the 2026 general elections. Mr. Mwale, who is also a former Ministry of Defense Permanent Secretary, described the convention held by one Mao Sampa as a sham and illegal. Hence Mr. Lungu's comeback to politics will make sure that perceived wrong people promoting confusion and masquerading as party presidents are tamed.
I've come to reclaim my seat. People are thinking that, oh, he's come so that he can be on the ballot paper in 2026. No, he says if Stade Mwari will be popular, why not support Stade Mwari? If Hadi Kalaba will be popular, why not support Hadi Kalaba? If Membe will be popular, like Membe is always working with us, why not support Membe? Because what the Zambians want is a president who will bring in everybody, who will bring in unity, who will uphold the one Zambia, one nation. So Lungu is back as a party president, but not as a Republican president so that he should contest 2026. That is a story for another day. But for now, he says whoever will be popular, that's the person he's going to support.
Mr. Mwale indicates that Mr. Lungu's political comeback is also meant to pour up support for a candidate the former ruling party will deem fit and popular.
Thinking that we are fighting. But I'll tell you, one thing for sure is that there's no infighting. There is just some division with a hidden hand that is trying to bring in the so-called infighting. Personally, you people, you're journalists, and like every Zambian, you know that our constitution, PF constitution, including our manifesto, it has got clear guidelines on how a party president is supposed to be elected.
The former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Defense was speaking at the Lusaka Magistrate Court premises after the court adjourned his matter, where he is jointly charged with 5 others and pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of willful failure to comply with the law, applicable procedure or guidelines relating to the procurement of the Gulfstream G650 presidential jet. Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chiwili adjourned the matter to 21st November 2023 for the continuation of trial because his lawyers were not present before the court. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia has been going through what many have described as a bad economic phase, as economic fundamentals have been in the negative. For instance, as opposed to having the ideal single-digit inflation, it has doubled, ranging around 12%, and the kwacha is no longer a teenager, as it is now trading between 21 and 22 kwacha against one United States dollar, and the price of fuel, which is the engine of the economy, has been on an upward trajectory. Amidst these challenges, the government has been optimistic that now that the debt has been restructured, focus will be directed at improving the economic situation.
Mletasha nga mwaona ule fintu bambi bale bikapa mu fintu mwaona wile mletasha nga tamlevo okutasha kulolesha bye mwaikala tondolo.
But the government critics feel there's no hope of recovery. Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Chishimba Kambwili charges that the government has no capacity to improve the economic fortunes.
I'll be sworn in at 10 o'clock and 14 hours the dollar will appreciate. Has it appreciated? Boza, Wenye, Ubufi. This man is all about lies. And I told the people of Zambia that you are going to suffer more than you are suffering under PF. Because I went close to this man and I saw there was nothing tangible that he was talking about except telling lies. And I've been vindicated because the man is simply a liar. That's all he is. Our president is a liar.
And on political matters, Mr. Kambwili says the PF is not moved by maneuvers by Mao Sampa, who took over the leadership of the party.
Those people are following Mao Sampa, that you are as good as being members of UPND, because you can see clearly that is being sponsored by the UPND. He was given police protection. He was allowed to change office bearers within 24 hours, which has never happened in this country. You've seen the judge passing a judgment and the following morning reversing it. So Mao Sampa is being sponsored. He's a hired gun. And I don't think I should be wasting my time to talk about Mao Sampa because it's neither here nor there. But I can only warn him that this thing will end in tears.
And Citizens First Party President Hali Kalaba has charged that government is fighting the opposition at the expense of addressing high commodity prices.
Because naturally we thought that things will improve, but things are deteriorating. Right now, opposition leaders are a target of the current regime, and I don't know why. President Hakainde Hichilema stayed in opposition for 23 years, and we thought with that experience he was going to be more tolerant to the opposition than anybody else, but he has become something else. And my appeal having been foreign minister, is to international community, because I know the role they play in all this, is that please see Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for who he is. He is not a messiah. He is one that is dwarfing our country's economic emancipation as well as our democratic emancipation. And so those that he listens to, especially the Western powers, talk to him.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News. Welcome back. Those are some of the stories that were making the headlines in the Camnet main news, and we were looking at some of them on the Camnet Breakfast Show. But like we earlier promised you that today we were going to have our guest, and who is coming from Kawata constituency. He is the Member of Parliament, Mr. Andrew Taingwa. Welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning, and thank you very much for calling me to come and be part of this interview.
We are glad that this is the first time Cause and I are hosting you on the program, and we are hoping to have a fruitful deliberation. To just get started, Honorable, first of all, I wanted to start with Kawata, but I think based on the stories we've been looking at, I think you are a Member of Parliament, and a lot of issues are unfolding, especially pertaining to Parliament. We are seeing that we are likely to have a new chief whip of the opposition, and in the name of Robert Chavinga, because of the changes that are happening within the opposition patriotic front. And your political party, which is the UPND, is being accused of sponsoring Mao Sampa. What would be your take on those issues?
Okay, I think first of all, what you must understand that is whatever is happening in PF, we saw it happen in 2014. So those who have got the history of what has been happening in PF will be able to tell you that this is not something that is new to the many Zambians. So with Mao Sampa's action, I think Mao did actually what he thought was right to do, and UPN has got actually nothing to do with the arrangements that is going on in PF. And that's what has been happening even in the past. Whenever the opposition are infiltrated with within themselves, they feel that maybe it's government that is sponsoring, or the ruling government that is sponsoring such activities. Mao, he actually did his homework, and you see, once bitten, twice shy. In 2014, there was an action. You saw how the former president was elected at the convention, where they were just lifting hands. And this time it is his time. You see, what you must understand in life, you reap what you sow. Today, if you decide to plant a seed of destruction, that the same seed of destruction is the one that you're going to reap. And this is exactly what has happened to the Patriotic Front. They planted a seed of destruction way back in 2014. They did not organize themselves. So at the end of the day, again, with time, you have seen now the results. You always reap what you sow. There's no way you can plant mangoes and expect to reap tomatoes or apples. No. Life has to be fair. That's how life is. So whatever is happening with the PF, of course, I'm not happy. I'm not rejoicing. But we are praying that they should organize themselves. But we have already seen again that the other camp of Mao Sampa now looks to be the legitimate leadership. So we are hoping that they'll be able to sit down and sort out their wrangles. Now they have a president whom they went and selected at their convention. So UPN has got nothing to do with this. Even me, I have not yet met Mao Sampa to congratulate him. The coming in of the other leader of opposition, Chavinga, well, we are yet to see. I hope you'll be able to demonstrate his capabilities like the way Brian Munduvile did. So we are hoping that Honorable Chavinga will be able to represent his political party as a leader of opposition very well in Parliament. To Honorable Munduvile, the only thing that I can say, this is not the end of life. Life has to continue. And I believe that as PF themselves, as PF, what they should do is to sit down and rearrange and organize themselves so that they can have the stamina or tenacity to stand any political pressure.
Interesting. We have gotten opinions pertaining to the ECL comeback from various players. I think we can also give an opportunity to give your opinion regarding the former president's decision to come out of retirement and opt to be in the political playing field?
You see, it's so sad, but it's so sad to see a former head of state deciding to come and receive the punches of politics, to come back and receive the punches of insults. You know, politics all the time, especially African politics, is associated with insults. It's associated with punches every time. You cannot withstand the pressure. I feel that the former president, what he should have done was to give guidance to the young ones, because I can tell you that by 2026, Mr. Lungu, the former head of state, will be almost close to 70 years or 70 years, and which Zambian, especially us, the young generation, would want somebody who's 70 years to come and start leading us. I think what we need is to have leaders that can inspire the young generation and give wisdom. He should have actually gone on a platform to give out wisdom to the young generation. Remember what the Bible says, wisdom is the principal thing. In all you're getting, get understanding. I think what we should have been doing is ask the young generation, getting wisdom and understanding from Mr. Lungu, who should have been the father of the nation. But now what he has done, he has actually taken away that respect that was actually accorded to him. And I feel that, you see, some of these issues, the families should always come in. The wife should have taken a reading law to talk to the husband to say, Mdala, is this the right direction that we should take? Sometimes people will influence you and tell you that all is well, and yet they're actually sending you to your early grave. And I believe that sometimes also family, the wife and the children, they have got a bigger role to talk to the head of the house, who happens to be him, Mr. Lungu. They should have found time to convince him or talk to him, because I can tell you that where we are going between now and 2026, the politics in Zambia, they are not going to be like the way he used to play them. Mind you, those days he had the instruments of power. He could easily send the cadres himself to go and unleash the opposition. He could even easily give the PF cadres guns and pangas, because he was the head of state. That's what you should understand. He was the head of state, so he could do that. But this time it will not happen. It's just the 2 days of him announcing he's coming back to politics. We saw how the PF youths cadres packed a vehicle full of stones and pangas and guns. I think this is not a culture that we've been wanting to see in Zambia. So I believe the return of Mr. Lungu might remind a lot of people the many wrongs that were done in the past. The people that were killed, for instance, Mapenzi Chibulo, have never received answers. The death of Joseph Kaunda and Samson, we've never received that. Even up to now, as we're speaking, we have never received the answers on the issue of gassing. So is this the kind of leadership that the Zambians want to start seeing again? We have never received answers to the issues of gassing. Right now, I don't know whether the government can even come up with a report to tell the Zambian people what really transpired between that period when people were being killed, brutalized, during the PF regime. So the coming in of Mr. Lungu has not actually inspired me. I was hoping that the man, being a Christian like he calls himself, I was hoping that he should have actually consulted. Sometimes it's good to inquire of the Lord, so that you get information from the one who created you and how best you can move your life forward. Unlike just listening to some few people that would want just to gain access to your resources so that they can start benefiting. I think it's so sad that we have allowed the former president to return back to politics. I think family should have played a bigger role than us politicians, and he himself should have actually inquired of the Lord. This is what he should have done.
What do you think? What role do you think the church must play in the politics of the country. Patrick reminded us of how these divisions have been in almost all the political parties. We saw MMD had divisions, we saw the NDC had divisions, we saw the Democratic Party had divisions, and now the Patriotic Front. Is there a role that the church can play in trying to bring harmony and bring civil politics?
My brother, I think what you should understand, and that is the reason why some of us, we've always propagated that the church should be actually separated from the politics, because they are the fathers who are supposed to give insights and guidance to the local leadership, politicians. Because today, if a politician errs, today if President Hakainde Hichilema erred, the only people who can have the mandate, the mantle to go and speak to him and counsel him is the church. But if we have a church that is going to compromise itself, that is going to go to bed with a political party, then we're not going to have people that can easily bring sanity. So the church needs to take up its role as spiritual leaders, guiders, who are people who are supposed to guide the political leaders, not only the political leaders, but even the civil society. So this is what the church should do. But you see, in Zambia right now, we see that the church has actually gone quiet. They are no longer doing their work like the way we saw in 1991, where the church was fully involved in ensuring that Zambia actually changed its constitution to go to multipartism. So the church did actually play a bigger role. So what we need again is a men and women of the corner who are full of integrity, somebody who has never been corrupted, somebody who has never received a brown envelope from some of these politicians that we have around. But you see, the reason why most of these men of God who have just decided to stay back, some of them, they know they are standing, that it hasn't been well in society. We had people that were calling themselves as Christians for long. These were clergy, and we know what the Bible talks about Christianity. When somebody has actually accepted Christ as his personal Lord and Savior, they know that their allegiance goes to Jesus Christ, not a human being. So I think that is the reason why most of these clergy that you saw around that time were busy praising political parties, or they could have gone to bed with other political parties. Right now they are finding it difficult to come out. It's because of the same seed that they planted. So we need to have a church that can stand for the truth. Like the Bible says that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And this is what we needed. We needed the clergy that are in right standing with God. Not only God, but they should also be in right standing with society. And this is what we want to see.
Well, our dear viewers, in case you are just joining us, you are watching the Camnet Breakfast Show interview. And today in studio, we have the Kawata Constituency Member of Parliament, Andrew Taengwa, and he's helping us to discuss current affairs as well as issues bordering on his constituency. In case you want to join the conversation, you are free to do so. And you can also leave us a message on our Facebook page to just also ask a question or give us your contribution based on some of the things we have looked at on the Camnet Breakfast Show this morning. Now, moving on the program, Mr. Taengwa, we want to also get your perspective. You come from the ruling party, and the ruling party is being blamed for failing to address the high cost of living. Now, outside the issue of meal meal as a topical issue, the citizens say we were buying meal meal at 120 and PF. Why should we buy it at 300 kwacha or 250 under the UPND, who assured us better economic fortunes?
Well, I do agree with you that the cost of living in our country has actually gone up, and we cannot attribute this whole thing to the UPND government. I think what we must understand is also where we are coming from, the bad policies that were put up in place, especially in the issue of agriculture. Because we saw in the past that people were actually not incentivized in terms of receiving a better price for a bag of meal. So actually people had lost hope in terms of growing maize. They knew that you will not get what you are supposed to get. So they had actually thrown that away. Then also, we also saw that the people had actually resorted now to growing soya beans. So some of the agriculture policies that were there in the past, they have also contributed, because you say what you should know is that government is a going concern. So when we were coming in, we had some few challenges here and there. The price of mealie meal right now is almost, in other shops you find it at 305, in other shops you find it at 315, in other shops you find it at 320, which is not right, because even me as a Kawatan person, I do feel for the people that are doing business, especially those small restaurants, they're unable to sell, and this is what we should work on as a government. And I believe that the president and his team, they're actually on course working on this issue, and that's the reason why, if you check now, we find that the government has now managed to bring down the cost of fertilizer. Because when you have the cost of fertilizer up there, you expect the cost of production to be high. Now the cost of fertilizer has reduced from 1,200 to now 620, 625 in other shops. So you expect a lot of people now to venture growing of maize, especially that they were given a better price of 280 kwacha per 50 kg bag. So my appeal to those, especially those that are heading the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Mtolo Piri, is to consider and look at the cry of many Zambians on the issue of kawunga, because kawunga ndeka mekalenge sati bantu bankale a bit disoriented with the leadership in the nation. So it's high time that we should now find solution. We are not looking at short-term solution, but let's look at long-term measures that will be able to change even the price of mealie meal in the next coming 4 years. Yes, we appreciate that government has actually engaged the ZNS, and ZNS I'm told they have procured almost about 9 hammer mills in all the provincial centers where they will be put, and that will actually help and to be a plus. And yes, ZNS will have been given a huge trunk of land to start growing maize. That when we have a lot of people actually going in, growing maize, including you and I think what we need to do is now to show that we are able to produce something. So if we can have a lot of people producing maize, then definitely the price of mealie meal will start going down. But number one issue is, let's look at some of these agriculture policies that we have, because so that the issue of kaunga pamala we just take a caution. Otherwise, at the rate at which we are moving, I'm not comfortable that we should continue moving like
I understand you also, your constituency is among the most developed constituencies we have in the country, but it has also a composition of the upper class and the lower class. And we see that in these families, we have people who live in extended families where a bag of mealie meal, Mr. Taengwa, won't last a week. So it means that if they are spending 300 kwacha, it means that every week they need to spend that money for them to be having 3 meals per day. And mealie meal, unfortunately, as a country, unlike other countries, we only have one staple food. So if we also look at that aspect to say, what about these people who live? It's not like Koza and his sons or children, but it's the entire family. How do we help such people?
We should not only look at the lower class citizens, but we should look at everyone as a Zambian. So the issue of mealie meal, even those that are your Koza the upper Mwambas, they do actually eat in Shima. They buy from the same shop. Even the poor, they also buy from the same shop. Let me actually correct you on a statement that you've made. Yes, I do agree Kawata is one of the developed constituencies, but the same development that you see in Kawata, they have actually been overgrown by the population. The same infrastructure we had in 1970, Kamala Secondary School is the same infrastructure. It has never been expanded. And look at the population of Kamala High School. It's over 4,000 plus pupils that are at that school. So we are developed in Kabata, but at the same time we are still being fought by the huge population growth within our process. That's the reason why we need to put up a lot of in this infrastructure. Now, coming back to the question that you've asked, I strongly believe that it's everyone who is affected with the mealie meal price. We can't run away from that. But we thank God because ZNS, they have come in, they are able to supply milling meal at a cheaper price. And I'm told there's one milling company that has also agreed able to see their product being sold in ShopRite at a reduced price. I had a discussion with one of the millers who actually indicated that they are also going to reduce. So we are likely to see the reduction of minimum prices. I think what we need also to see going forward is the issue of fuel. We're glad yesterday they did not announce the increment in fuel prices, but we need to find a long-term solution to the issue of fuel, because the cost of the high cost of living which we are facing, it's also attributed to some of these factors of production, and the fuel is one of the driving force that drives the engine of an economy.
Yes. Yeah. Then let's get to issues pertaining to development. We in the media, Mr. Tayengwa, we cover a lot of stories pertaining to issues bordering on security and issues bordering on junkies. And unfortunately, like you are saying, population is also outgrown the existing development. And your area, we have one notorious place there. They call it, should be Mapolot or something like that. It has also not been spared, just like we cover these issues in Chawama, in these areas. Your area is also facing a similar challenge, and especially also the other part of your area around the CBD, around Kamwala area. Yeah. We are facing issues pertaining to crime. I don't know what measures have you put in place, especially given that now we also have the expanded CDF, which was for 2024 has been increased to a tune of 30.6 million kwacha. What are some of the measures that are you taking as a constituency?
First of all, you see, there is no good parent that would want to hear a child being called a junkie. I think it's uncalled for. These are some of the boys, some of them that have been to school, they have got grade 12 school certificates. Some of them that even have diplomas. Others have even gone to university level, but they've ended up wasting their life. I think, you see, the issue of junkism, especially in Zambia, you go to Mongo, the people are talking about junkism. You go to Kawa, people are talking about junkism. You go to Livingstone, it's like it's everywhere. Now it's a spirit that has just engulfed this country. And I believe that as leaders and the church, we need to come up with a solution, because we don't want Zambia to end up like a nation in Central America called Haiti. I'm sure you know about Haiti. It's a country where there's absolutely lawlessness. They have failed the police to control. Now nations, different nations from around the world, they are the ones now that are sending police officers to go and patrol the streets of Haiti. I think this is a big concern also to us as a nation. And that's the reason why I've been calling upon all the churches, whichever church I've visited in my constituency, I've been encouraging churches. They are the fathers and spiritual leaders. They understand what Galatians chapter 6 verse 2 talks about. They are the ones who are supposed to restore these people who have gone astray. They bring them, restore them. Then us as the civic leaders, we come in with the tools that government has given us, the empowerment funds. We come in with the tools that government has given us to take them to skills training. For instance, I'll give an example. There's one pastor I have interacted with a lot in my constituency, a pastor lady, Pastor Betty Musonda. She's managed to transform these young men's lives. Right now, she was actually telling me that she wants to bring them so that we put them into skills training centers. Government is going to sponsor them through the CDF, and this is what we want. So we are calling upon the church to come in, because arresting alone will not sort out the issue that is at hand. We have also gone further. The place that you are talking about, Maploto, we're actually building a police post, and the funds were secured, and the drawings were approved. Anytime soon, we should be moving on site to start construction. I'm sure by December you should be able to see a police post standing in Maploto. Yes, Maploto is becoming a small notorious Chiwodia, where people now have now started coming to converge or congregate in Maploto. They are now living in Chiwolia. It's like they've just discovered a new place where they can easily trade in illicit activities. I think the Zambia Police and the Drug Enforcement Commission, they need to come on board so that they conduct some of these night patrols. What we saw in Chiwolia, we should also see it in Maploto, because I believe if they were to do that, they can recover a lot of illicit things there in Maploto. So let the police also extend their operations in Maploto, not only Maploto, and I believe also in Mississippi, because we have got some serious gangsters that are in Mississippi and part of Chawama. So we need the police to extend some of these operations to different places of our constituencies.
Yes, now that you mentioned the issue of Maploto, I remember prior to your election, Maploto was a subject of contention, and that the people were earmarked for relocation, and there's a pending project that here needs to be developed better, and that people need to be taken to better sites, but they also be compensated. I don't know how you are working on that project as a member of parliament.
Okay, the project was actually started by my predecessor, the Honorable Given Ngwinda, where he was supposed to have relocated the people, and this is exactly what we are doing. There are about 320 families that are supposed to be relocated, so that place can actually be either the owners of those places, they should either redevelop the structures that are there, or if not, they should find investors that can easily come and develop those structures. They go into partnership with those investors. Where we are right now, we had actually engaged the office of the vice president. We spoke with the permanent secretary, Ms. Mavis Nkomesha, and we agreed. We had found a place somewhere in Chongwe, Kantapa, where we're supposed to relocate these people, but we had some issues which we need to sort out internally, especially from Kawata and also Chongwe, so that we discuss and see how best we can help those families. I believe that we are one government, so we are the key players who are supposed to take up this issue. Yes, Honorable Winda started it, and we'll continue from where he left it, so that we can uplift the living standards of our people in Maploto.
Honorable, the issue of junkies is highly attributed to the high levels of unemployment in the country. You agree with me that most youths do not have employment. How can we go? How best can we sort the issue of unemployment?
Because maybe the statement should have been that I think the reason why we are seeing some of these junkies is because of, yes, unemployment, and at the same time, some of these home store shops that are now selling alcohol without any regards to humanity. You see, the mistake was made in the past. People were issuing liquor licenses at will. They were not even following the law. How do you give out a liquor license to somebody who's having a home shop without a toilet facility for him to own that? I think those are some of the mistakes that were made. And the issue of junkism has not started now. We saw that some of these so-called junkies, others were actually even working, but ended up losing it because of maybe failing to manage their own life. So when it comes to issue of employment, I think we need to do more, especially us as a government. We need to look at the youths, and that's the reason why we are coming in, equipping them with skills. We have managed to train, like for instance in Kawata, we've managed to train over 1,500 youths with different skills, and these are the same youths that have now involved themselves again into construction of this 1x3 classroom block or police force, and this is exactly what we are doing. But you see, we cannot give everyone, we cannot employ everyone, and we cannot give out these skills bursaries to everyone in Kawata. We have a huge population in Kawata, but we are moving, trying to see how best we can start reducing some of these numbers. We need to also move forward as a country to ensure that we create opportunities for our youths. I think it's not about having a white-collar job. It's about creating opportunities for our young men who are able to venture into entrepreneurship.
Interesting, but others have argued that CDF is only working probably for those of you who are in the ruling party. The MPs who have hosted on this platform say the money is not dispensed in full. What is the case for Kawata? Have you utilized the whole entire CDF for the year 2022?
You see, let me answer you in this way. So if you cannot be faithful in the little things that God has entrusted you, how possible do you expect God to entrust you with a bigger responsibility? How possible is it? Because even in the past, the way CDF was disbursed, receive 1.6, they'll give you 300, they'll give you 400. Sometimes it even go for 3 years. But this government has been so magnanimous to give out the money within the budgeted period. In Kawata, for instance, we have managed to utilize the CDF accordingly. We have over 18 projects that are running. I can take you to different sites. You will see 1x3 classroom block being constructed at Kawata Primary School. You go to Jack Kamlanga Basic School, we're constructing a 1x4 classroom block, and we have almost done close to about 90% of the works. You go at the Lakson Mapushi Police Force, we're building a new police force there, and this is what CDF is doing. You go to St. Patrick, we've already started construction again, a 1x3 classroom block. You go to Libala Stage 3, we are also doing the same. Go at Chilenge First Level Hospital, we've managed to build we've managed to build an ablution block, and we've managed to pave the entire Chilenge First Level Hospital. This is exactly what CDF is doing. Next year, we will see more activities, and for 2023, we have over 32 projects. Next year, we'll actually even start more on the issues of road. We'll be working on the roads. We'll be paving most of the roads within the constraints, and this is what we want. We want to show to the people that when you are given a responsibility with little resources, utilize so that the people can appreciate what you are doing. So Kawata will set an example. It's not magic, it's about somebody understanding what he's supposed to do.
What are you doing for the people of Kamwala South? This is an area that was heavily affected with the floods the last rainy season. We are getting into another rainy season. What has been done to try and sort this problem out?
Okay, again, my brother, you see, when you have somebody who understands what he's been coached to do, he will never sleep or slumber. You go to Kamwala South right now, you see ZNS, they're already on site. We started actually working before the rains. We are doing the drainages, and we're actually doing the drainages that will be able to cast even concrete. And that drainage will connect it to the Bombay drainage. And we're also doing some other drainages that we have already planned for under the Constituency Development Fund. So we understand what we are doing. We understand the coding that we are doing. People call me a community worker, and for sure I am a community worker because I never sleep. I ensure that whatever I have planned for the people of Kawata, it should be implemented. So right now, my brother, ZNS is on site. Go on the Lotimware Road, go to Lithium and Sodium Road. These are roads that were heavily affected with flooding. We are busy working on the same drainages, and some of the roads actually next year you see them actually being paved, and we put up some street lights. So I can assure you that the people of Kamwala South, they will not experience the flooding like the way we saw it in the past.
Is that an assurance that even our health center there will not be affected? Because we covered that story extensively, and we also got a lot of correspondence from the people down there who were saying the DMMU had allocated some resources that those people, they'll pay rentals for those that are affected, and that the people were also concerned that others who thought they needed to benefit were not able to benefit, and they remained affected in the same problem. I don't know how you have intervened in that manner.
Okay, in fact, what you should do, my brother Soko, is that you should actually go on site. Sometimes you see, it's good. I'm not trying to demean you, but it's good sometimes to go on site so that you ask something that is already something that you've already seen. You see, the reality is totally different from what you are saying. Those people that were affected by the flooding, we managed to pay out almost about 94 people that were affected. We paid them 6,500. But in every program that you do, you never see perfection in that program. You're bound to have some flaws here and there. And this is how it is. And that is the reason even why Jesus Christ says, the poor, you always have them. Meaning that you live with the poor in society. You can never have a society that do not have poor people. So even in whatever we do as leaders, sometimes of course you expect us to have some flaws, but we will try by all means to perfect those flaws, because our calling is to perfect such flaws so that people can start appreciating the good works of this government, PND.
Interesting. Now, also, while we're winding up, Honorable, on the subject of CDF, another observation has been the aspect of auditing or evaluation. I know you are a businessman as yourself. There's been a concern that, let's say people got grants. I covered in fact when you were unveiling a lot of people with grants. Have you gone back to assess to say, we gave you money to have a chicken project. Have you succeeded or you are failing? We give another person. We gave you an empowerment or a skill. Are you utilizing this skill or what? Are you also taking an interest in terms of that monitoring and evaluation aspect?
Number one, that's a good question you've asked. Number one, with the CDF grants, I can tell you that in Kawata constituency is one of the best that has actually performed very well. Most of these cooperatives that received those grants, they've actually doubled up the money that they received, and this is good, and this is what we want to see. Go to Lilai, you'll find that Lilai women rebels there, what they have done. Go to some other places within Kamala South. The youths, they have actually multiplied that money. So in Kawata, we have not faced some of the things that you've talked about. Yes, like I said, again, we may not perfect everything at once. We may have some flaws here and there, but I can tell you that the issue of auditing, I think this is what Lusaka City Council needs to do. We have a challenge, not only when it comes to grants and loans, but also about projects. Look at Lusaka district alone. I think Kawata is number one, and that I can tell you. In terms of project implementation, we have over 18 projects. Other constituencies, they have not even implemented one project. They have not done that. So what we need is a Lusaka City Council that can behave like Kanchibea Council. We need a Lusaka City Council that can behave like a Gwembe council, because these two councils that I'm talking about, they are public relations department, they are able to disseminate information. So we lack, I don't know whether I would say we lack capacity at Lusaka City Council, or maybe it's the people that have been employed in that department, the public relations. These are the ones who should have actually been going in different constituencies, getting information on projects that have been implemented, taking it to news medias like yourself, Camnet. For instance, if you were to go with the Lusaka City Council Public Relations Office, they take you to different sites of project which we are doing. You'll be able to appreciate, and the people of Zambia will be able to appreciate. So we have a dead public relations department at Lusaka City Council, and that is the reason why we need to make some changes. And I'm calling upon the managers of that council to start making changes, because as far as I'm concerned, the public relations department at Lusaka City Council is dead. It's not disseminating information. We are not getting anything. Kawata has got 18 projects running, 32 are coming, but that information is not given out to the general public. Why? It's because of the people who have been given tasks with the responsibility. Look at my brother, Sunday Chanda. Sunday Chanda, his Facebook page, when you look at his Facebook page, he has got almost about 20,000 followers, but he can't manage to disseminate. So what is helping Sunday is the public relations department that are able to send information to different media houses, and this is what we want to see. Then the other thing also, Lusaka City Council, the monitoring and evaluation which you talked about, it's the engineering department. They are not supervising some of these projects. At the end of the day, this CDF might be meaningless. Okay, people will not be able to appreciate it, because at the end of the day, 5 years down the line, you find some of these infrastructure, they'll start collapsing. Why? Because we did not have people who could go and monitor and manage those or supervise those projects. So Lusaka City Council engineering department, they need to come on board move with us as MPs. They need to come on board, move with us so that we do some inspection. They should do some supervision on some of these projects. I can tell you that if we can have a department that is working, public relations department, Lusaka City Council, if we can have an engineering department that is working at Lusaka City Council, I can tell you that we are headed for the best. Like others will say, better is not enough. The best is yet to come.
Your concluding remarks, Honorable.
Well, my concluding remarks is that the people of Kawata, what they should know is that they have somebody who was elected by themselves to represent them, and I will not let down the people of Kawata. And of course, one thing that I needed to state on this platform is that I'm building on where Honorable Luvinda left. It will be folly of me to say, that will be, I'll be doing a disservice to myself. I'm actually building where Given left, and I'm actually also going to build, leave a legacy where somebody, once he comes in, you'll find it easy for him to fit in. So this is our politics. Politics should be a going concern also, especially constituencies. Not in Africa. I started changing what Luvinda was doing. I should ensure that if the projects that were left by Honorable Luvinda, let me finish them. For instance, we have this fire station in Ichirenji. It was left almost at the roof level. Today, as we are speaking, we are just waiting for government probably to give us a fire engine and the commission.
And the mini constituency civic center.
The mini, yeah, we actually, I remember before the time I came in, before I came in actually, Honorable Levi Mukandawira had actually asked a question to the Minister of Local Government before he died, Honorable Levi. And the answer that came from the Minister was that surely government is going to finish up all the mini civic centers that were started by the previous government. So we are hoping that the mini civic center will be completed just like the way we have seen the fire station.
Causing.
Honorable, we would like to thank you very much for making an appearance on our breakfast show this morning.
No, thank you very much, my brother.
We have been talking to the Kabwata Member of Parliament, Honorable Andrew Teyengwa. He was talking to us about the projects in Kabwata constituency and of course other national matters as regards what is happening in current affairs and of course political wise. And he did also speak about some of the projects that are undergoing in Kabwata constituency. So on that note, we come to the end of today's breakfast show. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow as we bring to you another exciting program. But also remember to join us at 12 hours as we bring to you the Lunchtime Cafe. On behalf of the entire production team and my co-presenter, Patrick Soko, have a blessed day.